Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to At the Root of It. My name is Shannon, and on tonight's show is going to be a very interesting topic. Good evening, Tifa. Good evening. How are you, sis? It's going to be a very interesting conversation. When I asked God what would be my opening statement with today's topic, and today's topic is called the ties that bind. The ties that bind, soul ties, and the binding forces attached to it. Now, we know that this subject is not really spoken about a lot, but it needs to be spoken about because a lot of people are dealing with soul ties. You ever wonder why you can't get a certain person off your mind? Or good evening, Tinge, or no matter how much you want to forget about a person, they're always on your mind. You're always reminiscing about that person, and you don't understand why. Sometimes you don't even like the person, to be quite honest. You don't even like the person, or you do like the person, but you're no longer connected. Why? Why are you why do you have this draw? Why is there this pull towards this person? And it is because of soul ties. And, it's very spiritual. And to all the church people, I want to talk about this particular subject because there's so many people that are walking around and they don't know why they're acting the way that they act. It's because that we picked up certain qualities and things about a partner that we may have dealt with, right? Now, soul ties come from sex, but I'm going to get to, I did my research, and I'm going to put my disclaimer out there right now. My disclaimer is, of course, that I am not a clinical doctor, and I am just speaking from my point of view and the research that I have done on this particular subject. And when I was asking God, what should I do for this week's topic, I was listening to something and soul tie just said, and I was like, that's it. That's what I have to talk about. Because in order for us to be completely free and to be able to operate fully and healed, we have to touch on all aspects. And some are easier than others, and some are very hard. Okay. So www.mindbodygreen.com says a soul tie is a connection with someone deeply embedded into your soul. Certified sex therapist Deandra Blaylock Johnson tells us. So often it's thought to happen after you have intercourse with someone. She notes, adding, it's often presented from a very cisgender heteronormative perspective. Okay. Now, we know that it is a soul tie that comes from sex. Now, think about this though. Outside of that, right? You can have soul ties in other different ways, not just romantic. You can have healthy soul ties, like with your family and with your friends and things of that nature. But the soul tie that binds us the most is basically the soul tie through intercourse. Okay. So there are about four things that there are about four things that we can do to break soul ties. But this is another from spiritvineretreats.com. It says, what is a soul tie? A soul tie is a phrase which some people use to refer to a spiritual connection between two people. In many cases, it is said to come into existence after two people have been physically intimate. In others, it is said to form after an intensely close spiritual or emotional relationship. Hello, Toya. Hello, baby. How are you doing? Common examples of soul ties refer to those formed with partners from previous relationships. That's because this person has such a strong role in and influence on your life for such a long time that a deep bond or tie was formed. Okay, that bond may not have necessarily ended when the relationship did. And I believe 9 times out of 10, that is exactly what happens. We pick up the characteristics. It doesn't end when we say goodbye to the person that we have the soul tie with. It doesn't go away, right? It's still there because it's a spiritual thing. Let me see. Soul tie symptoms. Soul tie symptoms are usually the same as those which are often experienced by people after the end of a particularly intense relationship. Although these effects can stay much after the relationship has ended, even years at a time. So the symptoms can include obsessing about a person in your thoughts, particularly during the daytime, dreaming about a person or waking up thinking about them regularly, imagining or hearing a person's voice in your head. The symptoms of a soul tie may reach a level where they impact your current or future relationships. Now, listen to this. It can impact your future relationships. This is how deep it is. This is the binding forces, okay, that we don't think in a natural, okay? So the symptoms, even the extent where the people you are tied to might pop into your thoughts at awkward moments, such as when you are in an intimate moment with your current partner. Now, this is not for my saved people because I want to reach the masses, okay? Good tidings, D, good tidings. Tam said, "Ooh, here we go. I can relate tonight." Yes. So if we're trying to, I don't know if you guys know that saying, but for the most part, people will say that in order to get over somebody, you got to get under somebody. Now, this is what is said, okay? Now, listen to that and listen to what I just read as far as it can affect your current or future relationships, okay? You're not healed. You're not free. And as soon as you have sex, you have bound yourself with that person. So say you have multiple partners, right? You have bound yourself to multiple people and then don't know why things are going on with you in your head. You may be thinking different than you normally think. People are like, you don't act the same. You don't act the same because you have picked up spiritual people. Okay, now you're carrying not only your spirit, but the spirit of other people with you. Okay, and now you're not even yourself anymore. Sometimes people don't even recognize you at that point. Okay, So there's 4 phases in which you go through with breaking a soul tie. Okay, so the first step is acknowledge it is there. Understand that I think with everything that we deal with in our lives, that the first step is always admitting the problem. I don't know, like I said, AA and NA, they really knew what they were doing when they put that as their first step. You have to acknowledge that it is there, that wow, I have a soul tie with someone that is unhealthy, that is unlike me. Or, again, not every soul tie is unhealthy. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. But we are particularly discussing the unhealthy soul ties. But wait, before I really get into the meat and potatoes, because I meant to do this before I even started talking, all right? But I wanted to celebrate a friend of mine. Her name is Sierra, and she has been on my show a couple of times. She's the owner of KK Compliments, and she will be my guest next week for our next week's show. But I wanted to take some time to actually congratulate her for making her 1-year anniversary for KK Compliments. Yay, KK Compliments. And I know she may not be on right now, but I did tell her that I was going to big her up tonight because I'm very proud of her. One of the things, and this is a side note from the soul ties. I just wanted to give this up really quickly. Okay, so I wanted to play a 2-minute video for you guys, just celebrating her and promoting her business. KK Compliment has been a very adamant supporter of At the Root of It, and she's just a phenomenal person to know personally, and she just spreads love out here with us. Like, she's just really a great person. So I really wanted to give homage to my friend. Okay, so before I continue, please, I want you to just take a look at this video. Okay, look at this. Yay, 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 yay. Thank you so very much for looking at that. That's just to say congratulations. And here, KK, this is for you as well. Yay, Sierra, congratulations. She made a year. When she told me, and look, Latoya said yay with the praise because she told me when she was going to do this, and she is has gone full speed ahead and really made herself a household name. She's an influencer, she's a supporter, and she's just a great overall person. So again, kudos to you. Clap it up for you, Sierra. So now back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay, so how to break a soul tie. So the first step is admitting the problem, acknowledge it is there. Much like anything which might be classed as kind of an addiction, acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step. Okay, decide you're going to do something about it. That is the second step. Next up is action. This action can take many forms. Some people like to find someone to talk to about their problems. This might be a psychologist or a therapist, which we really truly support on this show, right? Of some kind, or merely meeting up with someone you trust to talk about the situation. But talk therapy or meeting a friend is usually not an effective solution for those kind of matters. For particularly deep and troublesome soul ties, meaning those which have already proven difficult to resolve or which may have been formed um, with a person who it later turned out was undeserving, further action might be needed. But because soul ties, for although they sound like modern invention, have actually been around since people were people. There are many alternative methods which have been developed when it comes to severing them. One of the oldest is the ancient South American healing. No, we're not going to do that. So, no, we're not going to do that. Forgiveness is number three because I'm not telling you to take any elixirs or anything. It's something about just making up your mind to understand that you connected with somebody that was undeserving of your time, or not even undeserving. Maybe that's what they said, but you gauge your situation the way your situation was. Okay. Maybe it was something for you to learn. However, these ties have to go away. And I believe that I'm talking about it in this instance because of the simple fact that in order for you to be married, right? In order for you to get the mate that you want, you should not have um baggage. And that's part of the baggage, even though you can't see it. Okay. So number three is forgiveness. This is often the most difficult step to take. In some cases, this might be because you feel that it is the other person in the bond who should be asking you for forgiveness. In others, there may be nothing to really forgive, right? So whatever, hey cuz, hey Shauna, um, whenever the case of forgiveness, whatever the case, forgiveness involves identifying any outstanding mental debts. Listen to that, yo. Yes, Tifa said forgive. Yes, yes. But did you hear that? It says identifying any outstanding mental debts. My God, you don't really think that that's what it is, but you have a mental, it can be a mental blockage. And I believe that this soul tie show kind of ties in with the last 2 weeks of the attachment style that we have, because it has something to do with why we keep choosing the same type of people and to come into our lives. And it's because of our attachment style, and it's also because of the soul ties. Okay. So whatever the case, forgiveness involves identifying any outstanding mental debts. which may be keeping the soul tie alive and releasing them, and to stop them from releasing them. This might mean you need to forgive yourself for making the past decisions, something which is incredibly hard to do because we like to blame ourselves for everything and and some people don't. Some people just like to push it off on the other person and say that it's not. But for the people who self-check and say, okay, well, let's see, I really did do that, which is the first step, is admitting or acknowledging, right? Yes, Steve, it does run deep. So, but forgiveness of yourself. If God tells us to forgive one another, right? Why don't we think that forgiveness of ourselves is mandatory as well? We have to forgive. That's why God said, come bring it to me and I'll throw it in the sea of forgetfulness. Why do we pick it up where he has already put it down? Right? So forgive ourselves, learn from it. It's always a learning curve. There's always something to learn from everything, but forgive. And number 4 is break the soul tie. The final step is to remove any physical objects which might link you to a person. This might mean photos you're keeping just in case, gifts which you like, and many other things. These are symbols of the tie and need to be removed from your life. So it's a constant reminder of that person in your life. Like, you're like, okay, I don't care, but I'm gonna keep this teddy bear because he gave it to me, or she gave me the shirt, so I'm gonna wear the shirt. These things still keep you bound to it, and so it's like, oh, let me get rid of this. Let me clean shop. Let's do some spring cleaning around here and get rid of stuff, right? I know that when I used to break up with when I broke up with one of my exes, right? One thing that I did was I changed the room around. I totally just changed the room around, put new curtains up, everything, so that it didn't feel like the space that we shared. And that was when I was in New York, you know what I mean? But I swear I did everything to change my atmosphere so that I wasn't constantly reminded of what it was. Okay? Get rid of it. And Tifa says, we can't forgive if we have not received God's forgiveness for us. And that is so true. It's so true, because when we don't believe that God has forgiven us, we don't believe that we deserve forgiveness. But we all make mistakes. God said we all fall short of the glory of God. And the people who think that we're, all holier than thou, he said our righteousness is as filthy rags. It's as filthy rags, that even though we feel like we are all that, when in the eyes of God, it's still like filthy rags, because, listen, we have to really be mindful, but we have to also understand that we deserve to be forgiven by ourselves, even if you don't hear, I forgive you, because sometimes people don't understand that forgiveness is for them as well. So, when you need forgiveness, even if you didn't even do anything, that's what the article said, right? So you said, real talk, how about your mattress? Yes, throw it out. Throw it out. Throw the mattress out. It has memories. Throw it out. Get rid of that. People said, burn, baby, burn. Right. Get rid of it by all means, because at the end of the day, it's something that's going to always remind you of it. Get rid of them covers. Get rid of the clothes. Get rid of it, so that you don't have these things hanging around you. Okay. Even doing visualization exercises where you visualize the connection between yourself and the other person, and then severing it using your will and intention is a powerful way of finally releasing any bond. So it really is your decision. And we make decisions every day on different things. We really do. We make decisions on what we're going to eat, what we're going to wear, where we're going to go, who we're going to spend the day with, who we're going to spend time with, right? We can be intentional in saying, I sever this tie. And I learned that that when you really want to sever the tie, right? You speak it. You speak it. You speak it into the atmosphere. You say the person's name, okay? Whoever you're trying to break the tie, and you say, I release myself from this bond, of this bind, together. I sever every tie, every three cord rope, whatever I unknot the knot. Whatever you need to say to cut that bond, you speak it out, because faith comes by hearing. Okay, so whatever you speak out has to come right back in, right? Speak it out, and speak it as long as you need to know that soul tie is broken. So it says there are four kinds of soul ties. I said that: marriage, business, sex, and friendship. Some ties have affected people negatively. Okay, so it says, you ever been so attached to someone that you feel you cannot go a day without seeing or being around them? Together, you isolate yourselves from the world, or you find that other important relationship in your life suffers because you're giving your all to that one person. Maybe even so much that you forget about yourself, your own aspirations, and goals in life. If you can relate or understand these feelings, you may have or are experiencing a soul tie. The soul tie is a biblical concept that should be taken very seriously. We all have experienced it. Soul tie is when your soul is tied to another soul through an emotional or sexual bond. This type of soul tie can be very dangerous when operating outside of marriage. So that is what I was saying in reference to if you want to get married. Like, if I want to get married, right, I have to let go everybody and everything in the past that I have allowed myself to be tied to. Now, this is a transparent moment, because a lot of people want to put up airs and think that everything is just sweet all the time, and people go through things. And I'm talking to the people all over the world that may see this later. Okay, you are important. Okay, and that time, energy, and space that you're giving to somebody that is negatively impacting your life, you have to grab that bull by the horn. You have to say, I'm not doing this because it's not benefiting me. And a lot of people say that self-love can be, you can kind of be selfish with it, but it's not. It's a protection of yourself so that you're not taken advantage of, so that you're not bound to people that you shouldn't be bound to. We get in different relationships for different reasons, but we never ever seem to really get what God to say. Is this a person that I should be with? Like, are we really in this for the long haul? Like, communication, effective communication is very important in these relationships. And, we can say, save yourself for marriage, but are we being realistic when we're saying that to the masses? Are we saying that? I mean, I'm not saying that it's not doable, because it is doable. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, are we being naive to say, don't say that to people? You got to touch people where they are. Okay. And if you're in a relationship that is not benefiting you mind, body, and soul, because a lot of times people stay in relationships for all the wrong reasons, whether it's money, whether it's sex, whether it is a validation thing, whether it is abuse because you're scared to move or scared to leave, or whether it's comfortability or familiarity. You don't want to leave that person because you've been there for years, but you know it's not beneficial. You've not moved, you've not grown, you've not evolved into anything. You still are going through the same thing over and over, year after year, day after day, month after month, hour after hour, minute after minute. Like, you have to say, okay, there's an unhealthy tie here. And this tie is something that we can't visibly see. It is a tie. Like, just imagine in your head that let's see, let's it's a 3-strand cord. or two-strand cord, how it gets, or Velcro. Let's think about Velcro. Okay, I want to give a more feasible um, example. So think about Velcro. When you have the soft side and the little sticky side, right? When you attach yourself to a person, right? It's like Velcro. And then when when you separate in the flesh, right? That Velcro part of you is still attached while everything else is going this way. But you're still attached. And then people are taking up space in your head. They're not even paying rent to be up in your head. You're carrying things in your heart. That's where an obsessive nature comes in, like I said. And we need to really, really, really say enough is enough. Right. There you go, CC. Hi. Yes. You knew when to say enough is enough. You have to be able to be real with yourself and understand that you have the tools now. And this is for people who are in a relationship, right? Or know that the relationship is over, but just don't know how to separate. It is not healthy. If it's not healthy as far as how he talks to you, how he treats you, but you keep going back. People who are getting hit now, please, I don't know everybody's story, and I'm not a clinical doctor, but people who are getting hit and getting abused and wondering why they're staying and wondering why you're ostracizing, you're away from your people, is because of a soul tie. It's because that tie that binds, that is invisible to others, but is bound you and them. If you want to get out of that situation, speak it. Cut the tie. I sever, I burn it, I cut the tie of the person, whoever is negatively affecting my life, who is not beneficial for my life, who is not helping in my forward progression, who is not on my same road, on my same path, on my same route, on my same journey, who does not have the same mindset as me, who does not want the same things as me. I cut the tie. I sever it. And you have to do it. You have to say it, because faith without works is dead. God is not going to do it for you. He will reveal these things to you, because that's why I'm talking about it, because sometimes you don't know what it is and you just need to hear something to say, wow, that's what it is. And it's like, no, you need somebody that is on your same mindset, on the same level, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You need to draw people in, but you're not understanding why you cannot draw the people in. And it's because your soul is tied to so many different people. And it's for people who like to sleep around. Like, you think that, oh, it's nothing. Oh, I do this because of XYZ, because they're paying your bills, because of whatever the reason was. The 9 times out of 10 is because you was abused, and this is how you are receiving it. But you are also binding your soul to every person you have slept with, every person that you have been intimate with. You are binding yourself. You are binding yourself, and then you don't understand how you're picking up the characteristics of the person. When you were once a sweet person, now you're snarly, now you're nasty, cantankerous. You got all of these things. Now you curse. Now you smoke. You ever watched Love Jones? Love Jones is my favoriteest of the favorites movie. Okay, so Nia Long in Love Jones, when she first got with Taye Diggs, right? Not Taye Diggs, Trey. What's his name, y'all? And I love him. What's his name though? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But anyway, when she got with him, what is his name? Tell me in the comments, y'all. Love Jones. Anyway, when Nia Long got with her dude, right? Lorenz Tate. Thank you, D. Thank you. It's Lorenz Tate. So when Nia Long got with Lorenz Tate, she was not a person that smoked, right? She didn't smoke, but she got with him. Not Frankie Lyman. My cousin said Frankie Lyman. He did play Frankie Lyman. You are so right, Shauna. You are right. But Lorenz Tate, she didn't smoke, she didn't do none of that. But when she got with him, all of a sudden, she was like, she picked up his habits. She talked a certain way. She moved a certain way. She did certain things. Like, so it's like, we have to be mindful that those things, and we pick up these things, right? And we don't even like it about the person. But we pick up these things. What the, how do we do that? How do we get ourselves caught up in stuff that we don't even like the behavior, and we wind up acting like it? It's because of the soul ties. Tifa said, "Oh my God, Ninshan, you said my nickname on the TV, on the live, but you're hitting the nail on the head. She calls me Ninshan Liswell." Yes, Lorenz Tate. Sierra said I was about to say Darius. Yes, but him, you pick up the traits of the people that you deal with, right? And then sometimes they're not healthy traits. So we have to really start admitting, that we change in relationships, we shift, and we begin to act like people that we normally don't act like. And then our family is looking at us like, why? If your family is looking at you kind of sideways, that means that you have changed, right? You have changed, you have morphed into somebody that they don't recognize, okay? That's an issue. And especially if they don't like it. Okay, if they don't like how you transition, if it's not a positive transition in your life where it's gonna make you better, your family will be the first indication on showing you that you're a part of an unhealthy soul tie. I just want to let you know that, because I know for me and my family, my mother does not play the radio. If there's something that is off, my mother will call it a spade. She will say what it is and identify the problem. Okay. And like, hey, that's not normally like you. Why are you acting like that? You're acting like him. And then family members fall out because you're not acting right. And then you're defending, you're defending the person that really doesn't need defense. That's another sign that it is a soul tie, and it might be an unhealthy soul tie, because when you're in love, it says love is blind, right? So you don't see what the outside people see. You only see what you want to see. And 9 times out of 10, it is the good and not the bad. We talked about that. We talked about that with the preoccupied, or the anxious preoccupied attachment style, where you over dramatize the good parts about it to stop yourself from thinking about all the bad stuff that they're doing to you. Tifa said, my mom would ask me, who have I been hanging out with? Family knows first. Yes, because you pick up spirits. Now, let me tell you something. Now, this may get a little deep for the people in the back, and maybe you're going to learn something tonight. But spirits jump, okay? And this thing is really spiritual. And I know that I'm gonna probably do a deeper research on it. But these spirits really jump, okay? And we don't understand the ramifications of our actions and who we're getting tied to. Okay. What we see is we're people that like to look at people have face value. But we really have to start seeking the spiritual aspect of the person, because it may look good on the outside. It really does. It may look really good on the outside. And it may be the very thing that you really wish that you wanted. And on the inside, there's a spirit on the inside that is not good, that is not right. Okay. And it's like, okay, now, but we're not looking for the spiritual because everything in the natural is suiting our needs and checks all the box. He got a good job, he drive a good car, he got money, he got, or she's light skinned, she's dark skinned, she got straight hair, she got curly hair, she got curves, she got this, she got that, whatever our specifics are, right? But then we don't look deeper. We don't even take the time to actually dig and get to know people and see where their heart space is at. Because if we did, we would not bind ourselves to the people that we bind ourselves to. And that is just the long and the short of it. When you know that you have not taken the right amount of time to get to know the person, you could be tying your soul to a demon. Okay, and then you don't understand why you're off mentally, and you don't seem like yourself. Your heart gets cold, and it's all of these things that begin to happen off of a soul tie, off of somebody that you allowed into your body, or for men around your body. But and viewers' discretion is advised. Okay, because I want to talk to the women. The women, we are more susceptible of picking up these soul ties and carrying them from generation to generation because we don't address anything, right? And we carrying these soul ties, which is building generational curses because of who we dealt with and who we decided to attach our lives to. And we really, really, really got to be mindful of these things. And the best part about it is that it's fixable. It's fixable by a changed mindset. When you want different, you do different. When you want to change, you change. If you don't want to change, you'll continue to do the same thing. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. I don't know about you guys, but I know me. I'm tired of being insane. Okay? I'm really, really tired of being insane. I'm tired of being trapped in a mental prison over people that weren't supposed to be there. And we ignored red signs. We ignored because people give us the red signs. The red signs are there, and they're right there. And then in the Bible it says that God would give us an avenue of escape. Sometimes things happen, like something falls when you're about to do something, and you don't understand why it fell. But it was to avert the attention off of what you were gonna do, so that you can escape. Okay, get out of the situation. Or if you was about to get into something or do something, and then your phone rings and your phone keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. Guess what? That's a sign, y'all. Those are your avenues of escape. When somebody is knocking on your door and you trying to get dressed, or you trying to get yourself together, and you're knocking down everything, and everything is making you late. That's a sign. These are all signs to say, whoa, 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 maybe I should not do this, because this is becoming a pain in the neck to even get to, right? But if you're anything like, people that I know, and myself included, when we want what we want, and we make up our mind to do something, we do it. Look, y'all, my nose. This is a good topic. It never fails. That's why I said this is a tell. It's a tell that I know that this was a topic that we needed to speak about. So I'll tell you this, that at the end of the day, when we finally realize that we have unhealthy attachments, and we realize that there's something that we can do about it, let's do what we need to do. Shauna on Instagram said, agree, learn the hard way multiple times. Right. And you know what? And that's why they said to forgive ourselves, because we tend to, our first ladies at church, our bishops wife, First Lady, she preached about that. And it was like, we have to go through the test over and over and over until we get it. We can't get a D on the test and think we're going to get, or a C on the test and think that we're going to get promoted and not be tested on that particular subject again. She said, you need to get an A because God is excellent. So he expects excellence when you're going through your test. If you're going to continue and you're not going to learn the lesson, you're going to have to repeat, right? So we need to understand that we need to, you know what I think? I think that we don't trust ourselves. And I believe Jasmine said that last week. Like, do you trust yourself? Like, you want to trust in people, but do you trust yourself? And I really believe that we don't trust ourselves. Because we see the red flags, right? And it could also be that it's just what we wanted. But we see the red flags, but then we want to say, nah, I didn't really see that. Did I really see that? I didn't really see that. Please, Lord, don't let me see. I really didn't see that. And we really did. It's all true, what we've seen. Those avenues of escape came and we missed the sign. The red flags, God said, flag on a play. And guess what? We was like, oh, that was just the wind. We made excuses because we wanted to do what we wanted to do. But in order for us to be healthy and be whole and to be fully happy, not just fake happy, because everybody, what I know is that people know how to do surface happy. People know how to do surface happy so well. But deep down on the inside, they don't know what really truly makes them happy because they're marching to the drum of another beat, of another's beat, if that makes sense. You're doing a dance for somebody else, not for yourself. And that's when self-love and self-worth comes into play. In order for you to receive the love that you really want, you have to first love yourself. You have to be the first partaker of everything. You have to get it. And then it will spread abroad, right? You have to get it first. You have to get it. And once you get it, then you will attract what you are. You will attract what you are. Thank you, Steph. Thank you so much. Flag on the play, and we keep playing. Lord help us. We do. We done saw it and gave it an excuse, team. Like, no, we can't. This far, no further, because he wants us whole. He wants us whole. And in order for us to do that, we just have to understand that we did what we did. We made the mistake. We have to forgive ourselves because our Father in heaven forgives us because we went and repent and we told him about it. When you think about David in the Bible, David was a man after God's own heart. And I keep saying it. I know I keep saying it. But he was a man after God's own heart. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like he didn't do bad things. He put Bathsheba's husband on the front line to be killed because he wanted his woman. If that wasn't trifling, I don't know what else could be trifling. That was trifling. He was like, I want that woman. Oh, she's married. So what? He was like the mafia, yo. If you think about it, he was like the mafia. Like, he was like, yo, take him out. Get him out of here. Because she's mine. He claimed her. But that wasn't God's way. You don't abuse your authority like that. Right? But he was a man after God's own heart. Because he took his stuff to God. Now, if you're not saved, I understand, and I'm not pushing my beliefs on you guys. I'm telling you it works, though. I'll tell you that much. But I'm not pushing my beliefs onto you. I'm just telling you that at the end of the day, we have to use what we've learned as stepping stones in these different relationships that have come into our lives. It's not for us to stay attached to it. It's for us to understand the lesson in it and to grow past it so that we can be better. okay? Because God wants us to be better. He wants us to be in health even as our soul prosper. He wants us prosperous. He wants us whole. He wants us healed. He wants us delivered. He wants us free. He wants us joyous. He wants us peaceful. He wants us lovingly. He said, with loving kindness have I drawn you. You know, he wants us to be able to be loving and kind as well. But we can't because we have all of these strings attached to us and we're trying to get away, but we keep getting pulled back by the same people, places, and things that we're trying to run away from. So what did we say earlier? Speak it out. Say it to yourself. Say it out loud. Speak it in the mirror to yourself, because sometimes you got to look yourself in the face and say, okay, I did this. I forgive myself, and I cut and sever, burn the ties of blah, blah, blah in my life that will no longer be connected, because we are the co-creators of our destiny. God has given us free choice to choose how we're going to live out this life, even though he walked it out, right? But he gave us free will so that we can choose what we want. Now, not every choice is the right choice, but he had an ultimate plan, and that was you can redeem yourself. You can come back from it. You don't have to stay there, okay? You don't have to stay there. He wants to bless you, and he can't, because you're holding on to something, that you shouldn't hold on to, and that he been told you to let go. And it's like, and I'm gonna be frank, it's like, oh, but it's so great. Oh, but no, that's not what a relationship it should be based on, right? And I'm preaching to myself too. Let me tell you something. I will never sit before anybody and act holier than thou, because I'm a work in progress myself. And at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here saying that I am perfect and that I don't have to hear these words that's coming out of my mouth. And I'm also going to tell you this too, that I listen back to these shows because it really does help me as well. Like, as I'm saying it, I'm really being the first partaker of what comes out of my mouth. Half the time, I don't even know what's going to come out, because I let God lead the way with this, okay? But I know that this can go even deeper, okay? I remember when we did the lust versus love, fidelity, and trust show. When we were talking about the lust, right? I had spoke about these two demons called succubus and incubus, right? And those are the demons that tie you in the soul tie. Okay, it's the things that when they said that you obsess about the person over and over and over, when you daydream about them, when you wake up thinking about them, when you dreaming about them in your sleep, when you think you heard his voice and you really didn't, or you thought you heard her voice and you really didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I just lost my train of thought, because I really was just like, wow. I thank God for these shows. And I don't know if this helped anybody, but please like, share with people that you may know that can really identify with these things, or are stuck in a situation and just don't know how to get out. I've been that person. I've been that person that was stuck. And I used to sit on the floor and say, God, I know that this is not my life. I know that this is not the life that you have for me. Show me what to do. Okay? And we can do that. We got to step out of our own way, and just talk to God. I'm telling you, it works. And you don't have to do this long, drawn out prayer. You don't have to mimic anybody. You just talk to him the way that I'm talking to this camera right now. I can't see my audience, but they can see me. And I'm talking to them. Talk the way that I'm talking to this camera. Thank you, cuz thank you so much. She said, definitely, I love this. You did amazing. Thank you. Thank you. But I mean, because we gotta be free. We want to We want to have everything that God has promised us. I know that I do. Now, I can only speak for myself, okay? At the end of the day, it's only about me, myself, and I, you, yourself, and you, okay? Because on Judgment Day, He's not going to ask you about the next person. He's going to ask you about you. Okay, so self love is very important because God will say, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And you can't tell him that it's because XYZ and so told me not to. Because he said you have to worry about your own soul salvation. So we really have to be mindful that it's not a selfish thing to work on yourself. It's not a selfish thing to say no. It's not a selfish thing to sever ties with unhealthy people. It's not selfish for you to protect your energy, your mental state, and your heart space from people who does not or do not deserve it. Okay? It is okay because you have to worry about your own soul salvation. When he cracks the sky, he's not going to ask you about your brother, your sister, your cousin or your friend, your mother or your father, your pastor or your boss at work. He's going to ask you about you. That's it. So do the work. Cut the cords. Say what you need to say. Have the conversations that you need to have. And again, if you're in a violent situation, please get help. You need therapy. That needs healing. And healing doesn't happen in a day. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes tears. It takes anger. It takes reliving some things. But at the end of the day, it's worth the freedom. The freedom of your mindset and the freedom of your heart to be able to love the way that you were made to love and not the way somebody conditioned you to love. Hear that. Hear that. That was good. And you know it was God because I don't even remember what I said. I know it was something about conditioning you to love. But I love y'all. I love y'all so much. And I thank y'all. Please share, like, and comment. Share with people that need to know about this particular topic. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need more subscriptions. I have people on here. I believe that the people that I have on here have subscribed because subscribe to my YouTube channel at the root of it on YouTube, okay? Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'm on every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I just want to thank everybody who has watched tonight's show. Please tune in to next week's show because next week's show is really, really, really deep. We're going to be talking about childhood trauma. Okay? Because we're getting to the root of it. We're going to heal. And I believe everybody has childhood trauma. I mean, we spoke around childhood trauma, but the immediate subject with my special guest, Sierra Bond, KK Compliments. All right? So until we meet again, guys, I love y'all. I love y'all. Give me some hearts. Give me some hearts. I love y'all, and I shall speak to. I have actually 2 minutes. If y'all want to say anything, if y'all want to promote your business, yes. Tifa said. Tange said good night. Tifa said, let's go. That is going to be awesome. Stephanie said, thank you, Shannon. You are a blessing. I love you, Steph. I love you to life. I love you, cuz. Thank you so much for tuning in on Instagram. Thank you for Sierra Side tuning in on YouTube. Thank you, DB NS Graphics Designs by Natifa Sabah. Oh, also please follow me on TikTok. I will start putting up videos as of tomorrow. I just tried it out last week and I got a lot of views. So please we're going to actually be branching out on TikTok. Please follow DBNS Graphics on TikTok too. She does beautiful, 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 beautiful work, and you'll see all of her work on TikTok as well. I believe Tipsy Cakes has one too, but I'm not quite sure. Tim said, and another one, all net, huh? Love you too. Love you too. Till we meet again, guys. Thank you for tuning in to At the Root of It. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. All right? Good night. See you next week. Same bat station, same bat time. Till we meet again. Peace. Love you, cuz. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys.
Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else in life.